we are getting at 26 weeks, we're getting them to 135, killing out is up to 110 kilos carcass weight. This is achievable. This can be done with the right food, with the right genetics, with the right health and the right management. This is achievable. People say, no, it can be done. It's being done right here. And that will make you money, good money. If it takes you, guys, if you're selling a bacon at 8 months, I guarantee you're not making a cent. And a lot of guys produce pigs, they get him up to weight, they send him to abattoir, end of the month, end of the year, they send it to the auditor, and he comes back and says, made no profit. How can I not make any profit? I've sent tons of food to the abattoir. The pigs ate up your profit. That's how easy it is to lose money if you're not measuring, if you're not doing what you should be doing. Okay, just maybe beforehand, guys, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so I said to you that 4-week weaning weight is every kilo you can put on at 4 weeks saves you 3 weeks on the other end, and so on. Get them, spend your money on getting them a good start. Anything that goes wrong in the first 4 weeks, by the time you slaughter them, they pork weight where their pen mates are bacon weight. That's the other thing we do wrong. We want all of them to go at bacon weight. So we send the big ones and we keep the smaller ones and feed them for another 3, 4, 5 weeks till they're that weight. Guys, send the whole pen. Send those shitty ones as pork weight. Get rid of them, they're going to eat up your money. Send them as porkers when you're sending the big ones as baconers. Don't try and feed those up to bacon weight, they're going to eat up all your profit. Not worth doing. All in, all out. And so on. Okay, good start. First thing. Now the second thing, guys, what is the most important piece of information you need to gather on a piggery to make a profit? But you're keeping records, you're recording different things. What is the most important piece of information you need on your piggery? How old they are. Now, I guarantee you, if I go to any one of your piggeries and I ask you how old is that pig, what you'll say, 10 weeks. Truth is, you haven't got an idea how old he is, because especially when you got more than 1 or 2 sows, but if you had one, okay, that was born on Christmas Day, and you can work out the age. So when you got 2, you cross foster and you separate the males from the females. 3 weeks down track, and oh shit, I can't remember when they were born. Was it last week or the and so on. So the age, now 16 weeks, or well, 6 months later, I ask you how old is that pig? Haven't got a clue. How can you benchmark? How can you say, where are they here, what weight should they be, and so on? Very easy, I'll tell you how now, just now. But what you need to know is industry standard, at 17 weeks they need to weigh 70 kilos. You need to know that. At 20 weeks, they need to weigh 100 kilos. You need to know that. So now you need to know how old is that pig first. How do you do that? Guys, at teeth and tailing, you're busy handling them. You can ask the guys who've been with me on a practical course. It takes me 45 seconds to do iron injection, teeth, cutting all their teeth, the tail off, and to give them the ear notch. And the ear notch is for the week of the year that they were born in. So they're born between the 1st and the 7th of January, they get a number 1 on the ear. Between the 7th and 14th, number 2, and I'll show you the notching system now. So you can go to my piggery now and say, how old is that pig? And I look at the ear and I can tell you within 3 or 4 days of that week, that's how old that pig is. So when I load them for the abattoir and so on, I look at the ears and say, okay, yep, there's 26 weeks, 24 weeks, 25 weeks, all in that range going to the abattoir. So you've got to know how old they are. Very easy. How do I do that? Okay, very easy, man. You can't get any. Now, when you read a number, when you put your head over the wall, they're looking at you. It's very difficult to see their back end sometimes, especially when you heat spotting. You've got to put foot here and go and look at that side to see their fannies and so on, to see whether they're on heat. But when you put your head over the wall, they're looking at you. So we're looking at the pig doing that, and when you're teeth and tailing, you do the teeth entailing with him looking at you like that. Now, when you read a number, you read 52, you don't read 250. So the 10s are on this side and the 1s are on that side, okay? Number 1, at the top of, now here is that thick bit of the ear here. You don't want to cut that because it bleeds like a pig. So just off that thick bit, number 1 notch. And the notch that we use, Tolo has got them stocked. Mine had to import from South Africa and so on. Tolo's got that, they've got iron, they've got Ivermectin. They don't do vaccines because they need a vet, and we'll talk about Mbatsi does stock vaccines and so on. But so number 1 is 1 notch at the top of the ear on the left hand, on your left hand side, the pig's right hand side. 1, 2, 3 is the tip. 5 is just under the tip, not too low, but just so you see it's not the tip. So there would be better. That's 5. So out of that you can make 9. Okay. On this side, exactly the same with the 0. So now that's, instead of 1, it's a 10 and a 10, a 30 and a 50. Now out of that you can do 99, but you only need 52. So you do that till the end of the year. New year you start at 1. So at the moment we've got pigs that was sort of 20 weeks in last year and 6 weeks this year. So you still can work out it's 26 weeks old, and so on. So and it's ching ching ching. It takes, I can do ear notching, iron injection, teeth entailing in under 45 seconds. So, like that. And you've got that information all the way through. If you are on this, between the 1st and the 7th of January, you would have marked him with week 1. Okay? Now, at the moment where we are now, we are sort of middle of, or 3rd week of February. So 4 weeks in January, 3 weeks, so this is week 7. So if the piglets were born today, I would mark them with 7. 7 would be a 1, and a 5.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't do all of them, you just do the ones that you need. So a 1 and a 1 and a 5. Next week, 8. So 8 would be a 5 and a 3.
Okay.
9, a 5, a 3 and a 1.
Also, why you not represent the number?
Exactly. So these are the 1s and these are the 10s.
Okay.
Exactly the same place, just with a 0 behind it. Now, at the moment, guys, the thing is, if you're selling breeding stock like we do, I want to not just sell you a boar, I want to sell you gilts and a boar without giving you related animals. We've got 3 different boars and so on. So what we're doing at the moment is our number 1 boar, we put a notch on his left ear. Our number 2 boar, notch on the right ear, number 3 boar, and 1 with both or nothing. So we could actually do 4 different boars. So these tell us who the father is, those tell us how old the pig is. Now I can sell you 1 boar that's unrelated to these gilts from the same piggery. Obviously if they're the same age, they can't have the same mum within 6 months anyway. So that you know they are totally unrelated to each other.
So you say 1 boar is numbered 100.
Yeah.
And the other boar is 200.
Exactly.
And the other one is 300.
Yeah, 300 or no marks, so which is 0, 0. So you could do 4, you could do no marks, 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, yes, both. So you could actually do 4 balls if you're doing it that way. Now, guys,
when you do the injections and everything.
Good question. Guys, if you go in the handbook, they'll say on day 3. But guys, the guys who were with us or the guys who've done this before, those needle teeth are razor sharp. They are hypodermically needle sharp. And there's 2 big ones here and 2 big ones there and 2 big ones there and 2 big ones there. Now, ladies, you're more informed on this. Guys, think of other body parts that is equally sensitive. Imagine that teeth sucking from there. And man, as soon as the second one, okay, guys, you know, there's the saying, sucking the hind tit. You know that saying, it means you've been done short by. That comes from a pig because the top teats have more milk than the bottom teats. So when they come out, the first baby goes for these 2 teats. The second one says, no, I want that one too. Either they bite and those needle teeth puncture the teeth and then mastitis, and then the mom says, bugger you, I'm sore, I'm not feeding any of you, and they all die. and so on, or he tries to rip him off and then rips it and so on. Either way, it hurts like hell and it damages the cell. That can happen 5 minutes after birth. If you wait till day 3, the damage is done, guys. I don't want to do them when they're still wet and navel string wet. I do it the day after birth. And I'm not going to do the teeth and then 2 days later do the rest. When I do in one thing, I do them all the day after birth. For me, it works. You can go to wait for day 3, but it's 45 seconds per piglet.
Is that the same time that you do the notching?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you castrate at all?
Guys, in 34 years of pig farming, I've not castrated one pig. Why? The reason for castration is firstly so that the sisters and brothers don't mate each other, and so on. The second one is that boar taint. Now, not all pigs get boar taint, but if you sell a pig to somebody and they get boar taint, they will never buy pork off you again, and so on. So yes, you can castrate. There is an injection that you can give them called Improvac. You give it 4 weeks before you want to send them to the abattoir, and that takes away any boar taint that there might be. But guys, boar taint starts at puberty. I said puberty is sort of 6 weeks, 6, 7, 8 months old is where puberty starts, especially for your boars. Is a little bit later than your gilts, and so on. They are in the fridge already by then. I've never sold a pig older than 6 months and so on. Then they get, otherwise they go over that 135 kilos, and then if your pig slaughters out 110 kilos, you're getting 35 pula a kilo. It goes at 111, 22 pula a kilo. That's like 1,500 pula overnight that you're losing. That hurts. Hey, that hurts. It hurts your heart and your brain as well. So guys, grow them fast. Then you don't need to castrate. Look, what does the bulls do? Apart from mating and so on, they also produce growth hormone testosterone. At the Olympics, these Eastern European women who won with weightlifting and the shot put and so on, because they got muscles like that and a beard like a man, they inject them with testosterone. That's why, guys, boars are your fastest growers. They are your leanest growers. They are your best feed converters. Because if you castrate them, they go fat. Now, guys, to put on 1 kilogram of fat takes 2.25 times more food than growing meat. Think, how can that be? If you take meat, how much water is in your body? 1 kilogram meat. About 75% of that is water. And that is solids. So water is water, but the solids, the growth comes from the dry matter that you're feeding them. Fat, same amount, also weighs 1 kilo. Actually, it's a bit more because it's lighter than water anyway. How much of that do you think is water? %. Is water. This one, 75% is water. That's why it takes you 2.25 times more food to put on a kilogram of fat. So if you're growing fatter boars, it costs you more in food. So it's a no-brainer, and so on. And so how do I deal with not castration? Firstly, I make sure that they grow fast and they go to an abattoir before they. The second thing is, guys, when you've got a pen and you've weaned a sow and now you've got 8, 9, 10 babies, that they sleep in a little corner like this, like 1 square meter in the pen. But if there's 10 square meters here, that's not an efficient use of space. I put 2 litters in. Now, if you've got 25 sows, which means you've got 1 sow a week farrowing, it's better to mate 2 sows every 2 weeks than mating 1 every week. Because if you've got 2 sows farrowing, one gives you 7 and the other one gives you 15. You cross foster and so on, and they both grow better, and so on. So I put 2 litters in, up to about week 10. So then they weigh about 20 kilos, 25 kilos. Then I split males, females, and so I've used that space more efficiently, and now they never meet each other, they're never in the same pen again, so there can't be any mating of sisters and things going on.
Sorry, at what age do you split the sexes?
About week 10, when I move them out of the weaner pens into the grower pens, basically, depending on your
Switching
system.
from weaner to grower already you are splitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.